Hello, my good friends. Mike Shreeve here, founder and head troublemaker of the No Pants Project. You're listening to episode 36 of the No Pants Show. We're going to be talking about 7 ways to use your cell phone to get clients, to grow your business, and to make some pennies that you get to put in your bank account or do whatever it is you want to do with them. Maybe spread them out on the bed and go swimming like old Uncle Scrooge, swimming in his big pile of gold or whatever. I don't even know. Okay, whatever it is you want to do with your money, that's what you got to do. In this podcast, we are going to be talking about simple strategies that allow you to leverage the tool that you probably already possess. You see, one of the things that a lot of people fail to realize is that they already have most of the tools they need to get their business going now. So if you have access to the internet, a computer, and a cell phone, you don't need to go run out and purchase a fancy camera. You don't need to go run out and purchase fancy this and fancy that and fancy this. Well, the technology that we have today that we use for entertainment, just the stuff that we use for entertainment, is often significantly better than what professional marketers were using to make polished marketing videos not even 5 or 10 years ago. So, with that understanding, my hope is that you look at your phone in a different way after today's podcast, that you look at it as the tool that it is rather than the distraction that it can be. Something important to understand and know about the strategies I'm going to be sharing with you here is these are not strategies that you need to wait until something's polished, right? Most people listening to this podcast grew up with television commercials and radio commercials. Those brand marketing style commercials required a significant amount of polishing because of how much it cost to make them and to run them, and because they were mass market, and because there's a lot of factors that went into the way you were marketed to growing up. And the way you were marketed to growing up, and we've all been marketed to our whole life. I've heard as much as we receive 4,000 marketing messages a day, right? We've been, if you're as old as I am, 30-something years old, that's a lot of marketing messages over a lifetime. You're going to assume marketing is a certain way. The problem is, in 2019, that's just not true anymore. I heard this the other day. So here's something that just blows my mind. Billie Eilish, I think that's how you say your last name, Billie Eilish, really cool, weird music. She's not released like a full-length album yet. And she is super popular, multimillionaire, etc., etc. In other words, if you still don't believe that the internet has changed everything, let me tell you, the internet has changed everything. One of the things that it's changed is how consumers trust brands. In other words, what is more valuable these days than it has ever been is authenticity and transparency and all those buzzwords that you hear at South by Southwest. But the way to consider that, or another way to frame all of that sort of floofy words that people use to sound smart and get paid a lot to do speeches, is people value unpolished marketing. Because it feels more authentic. It feels more real. So, marketing that's done in the in-between times is marketing that's done not necessarily on the fly, but on the fly. So, for example, this podcast, I did not spend a great deal of time preparing for this podcast. Maybe less than 5 minutes. Most of my podcasts require less than 5 minutes, creating an outline, getting on the podcast, and going. This is a marketing tool. You are being marketed to right now. I'm doing it from my phone. I'm doing it in between. Literally, I'm juggling my daughter, who is feeling a little bit ill tonight, a webinar that I have to do, and just life in general, right? So I'm squeezing it in between. I'm not waiting until the perfect moment to sit down and create this polished thing, and it's going to be so beautiful and millions of people are going to see it. I just grab my phone when I'm ready. I got my notepad, and here we go. We're going to market my business. So in between times marketing is about not waiting until things are polished and realizing that that's actually an advantage, that you have an advantage in today's world, that customers and clients will be more attracted to you because you're not over polishing everything. So all the strategies I'm going to share with you, I don't want you to overthink them. I want you to go do them, and do them in between. If you got 5 minutes, you'll see some of these. These are great for like waiting in line. You can market your business. A lot of people look at how often I'm online and making comments and creating content and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people probably think that I'm spending hours and hours a day both marketing my business and just being online. I'm telling you, I'm probably online less than an hour and a half a day. So now, granted, that hour and a half isn't a single hour and a half. It's 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 20 minutes there. It's the in-between stuff. It's, what am I doing right now? I don't know. I'm kind of bored. I don't know. Let's put up a post and try to market the business a little bit. That's it. So consistency, in between, and the fact that it's a cell phone, which you're doing this with, makes this all very, very easy and doable. It literally removes all excuses for growing a successful business, whatever it is you're selling. Okay, now, before I give you the strategies, there's one last thing. I want to remind you that there's only 3 things you need to successfully market or sell something. You just need attention. So you need to get someone's attention. You need something to offer, which is whatever it is you're selling. And then you need a way for these people to purchase from you. The attention piece in what I'm going to be sharing with you is not, we're going to rely on the rule of frequency when it comes to attention. So there's lots of different ways to get attention. One way to get attention is to be super controversial, right? And every time you open your mouth, there's like a Twitter, Reddit rage war about something you've said. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to be really, really loud and brash and sort of extreme in the sense of, like, let's say something like a David Blaine, where he like froze himself in New York, right? So be outlandish and big and huge. That's one way. There's another way, and it's the way that I prefer, which is the steady, slow drip, right? I can be myself. I don't have to like put on the show. I don't have to be controversial. I don't have to cause drama. I just show up consistently over and over and over and over and over again. Now, this type of attention that you get, in my opinion, when it comes to business, is higher quality anyways. Because the problem with controversy, attention that's gained through controversy, and the problem with attention that's gained from big outlandishness, it's fleeting attention. Attention gained from the slow, steady drip of high frequency is trust-building attention. So as I talk about these methods, I want you to keep that in mind and just remember, do it however you want to do it. You got to do it your way and your authentic way, but understand that frequency is going to be a huge tool in you being successful in what I'm going to share with you. In other words, I'm talking about doing strategies and tactics that you do every day in the in-between times, not once on Monday, and then not again for 3 weeks, and then once on Tuesday. Number 2, this is the part of something to offer. Just I won't go too much into detail on that because that's a little bit outside of the scope of this podcast, and frankly requires quite a bit of training. But basically, just make sure that what you are offering is something that people want, right? That's the big thing. And it sounds so overly simple. It maybe sounds too simple. There certainly are lots of techniques and tactics and strategies and worksheets and lots of things you can do to figure that out. But at the end of the day, it just has to be something that people want. Okay. And when I say something to offer, I mean what you're trying to sell. So not just the content that you create, not just the podcast episodes, not just all these other things I'm going to be sharing with you. It has to be the thing that you want people to buy. They have to want it. And then lastly is a way for them to buy. This is how simple it is, my friends. Whatever you do, drive people back to some kind of social media site where you can respond to them. You don't even need a website. So for example, this podcast that I'm creating, which will be one of the methods that I'm going to be talking about here in a second, if all I did was told you to find me on Facebook and send me a PM, add me as a friend on Facebook and send me a PM, I can make sales all day long. Or find me on Twitter, shoot me a DM. Find me on Instagram, shoot me a message. Find me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message. If that's all I did in this podcast, that could be my whole business. I don't need a website. I don't necessarily even need a funnel unless I wanted to automate things, right? So the strategies that I'm going to be teaching you today, there's not a lot of automation. This is the organic, harder way of doing things, but I'm going to be sharing it with you anyways because I know a lot of people don't necessarily even want to get into automation because they don't maybe trust ads or they don't want to learn ads or whatever that process is. Okay, so attention, something to offer, and a way for them to buy. That's simple. Now, let's talk about the 7 different ways you can use your phone to pull all of this off. Number 1, just make a podcast. Okay. I've already given you an in-depth podcast on how to make a podcast. It was this simple. There's a website called anchor.fm, I believe is the one I'm using. I'm using it right now to record this marketing material. I love you and think you're awesome, but I'm not creating this podcast for myself. In that I like to hear the sound of my own voice, and I'm not even necessarily creating this podcast just because I want to put out free stuff. I'm making this podcast to market my business. That's the point of me doing this. I'm doing it in the in-between times, between taking care of my daughter and all those things that I just talked about. I know that not every, compare my podcast to something from NPR. This is super not polished. But you know what? In the first 30 days, we've done more than 10,500 downloads. First 30 days, 10,500 downloads. I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to do the math on that one and see that was probably, I won't tell you exactly how much money we made, but it was very profitable. And it has been so far. And there's momentum in that. We continue to get more subscribers on iTunes, and our average download per episode continues to go up exponentially. And I don't necessarily think that the episodes are getting better. I just keep producing episodes. In the case of podcasting or any of the methods I'm going to be telling you, more does in fact equal more. Which is to say, the more podcast episodes you do, the more your results that you'll get. There are some things in business where more doesn't equal more. Like, for example, having more front-end offers doesn't necessarily mean more money. And the reason for that is because you could have cross-selling issues, right? Complexity, customer confusion, increase in doubt, and they may not want to buy if you have 50 different things for sale. But more podcast episodes does equal more results. I'm just doing it on my phone. I don't even know what kind of iPhone I have. My wife buys the iPhones. I just say, yes, dear. Okay, that looks great. That's awesome. I'm not a technology person. That's just not, I'm not wired to be interested in that. Nothing wrong with it, but that's how easy it is to create these podcasts. All right. So podcast is number one. If you use Anchor FM, it'll upload to wherever you need to go, and you just create your podcast every single day. Number two, here is the second method for using your cell phone, and I love this method so much. I've been doing it for my clients for a couple years, and I finally decided to do it for myself in the No Pants Project. And look, I'll tell you, the reason I waited so long to do it in the No Pants Project is because I'm very shy on camera. Okay, so what I'm about to tell you has to do with the camera on your phone. And if you also are shy on camera, I completely understand. Okay, I'm also want to tell you that we've just recently started doing it and for the No Pants Project, and it is surprisingly as good for me as it has been for my clients. And I say that surprisingly because my clients are like actual professional speakers. I'm just a dopey dude who sometimes my hair doesn't, I forget that I kind of didn't really do my hair when I do my Facebook Live stuff, right? So if I can do it, you can do it, and it will return a result. So here it is. So what you do is you get a Facebook business page, okay? So not your personal profile, it has to be a Facebook business page. What you then want to do is download the business page app onto your phone. It's not a great app, but it doesn't have to be great. It only has to be kind of good, because all we're going to use is the Facebook Live feature. We're going to hold up the phone, or I'm thinking about getting, I might get a little gimbal thing, but let me tell you, I'm not using a gimbal right now. I'm not using a selfie stick. I'm literally just holding up the phone. And all you have to do is share something helpful to your potential clients. So for example, if you know that you're going to serve pizza restaurant owners, make a video, 5-minute video, says something like, or 10-minute video, whatever, 7 ways pizza shop owners can get more clients this coming St. Patrick's Day. Make that video. Super easy. Again, don't over plan it. The less you plan, the more real and authentic it will be. What will kill you on a Facebook Live is if it looks like you're in a hostage situation reading from a teleprompter for people to come save you. Right? So don't sit in front of a white wall where, you're very stiff. Do what, I don't know, go check out some of my Facebook Lives that we've done recently. I literally just went out in the woods, right? I went to where I want to be. If you want to walk downtown, don't worry about the polished perfection. Don't worry about the noises. Don't try to get a perfect soundproof thing. People want to see that you're a real human being. And when you consistently show up day after day after day with these Facebook Lives, or the podcast, or whatever it is that you do, people will be naturally drawn to you. You will be able to leverage the power of human communication, which trumps all marketing and sales strategies and tactics. In other words, you will have human connection, which is ultimately the fastest way to basically trust, which is what you want before people will purchase from you. Okay, so you got your business page. You've got your Facebook Live, and then here's what I want you to do. After you do your Facebook Live, after every single Facebook Live, here's all you have to do. Take $15 or $30 and boost that post. You can do all of this from your phone. Boost that post to people who like your page and their friends. Couple things are going to happen. And that's an option in your targeting when you boost the post, by the way. So a couple things are going to happen. One, the people who like your page are going to be happy to see that content, so they're going to engage with it and like it and watch it. And when their friends see a page pop up on their timeline, and they see that their friend has liked that page. I don't know if you've ever seen that in your own timeline where a friend of yours liked a page and it pops up, my Mike Shreeve work smarter. Jamie also likes this page. there is a sort of double take where somebody says, wait, what is this? What is Jamie looking at? And then it's a really great way to almost get like referral clout from people who like your page. Now you may say, well, Mike, what about if I don't have any likes on my profile or on my Facebook page? Cool, there's a couple things you can do. One, keep making your Facebook lives and share them with whoever's willing to look at them, right? So just like your friends and your mom and all that kind of stuff, right? Just share it with everybody that you can. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is that when you boost your post, just change the targeting to target people who also like pages similar to yours. So for example, if you wanted to sell Facebook advertising services, what you do is you'd make some Facebook Lives, and when you boosted them, you would simply boost them, and in the targeting that you select, you would say, target John Loomer. And what would happen is Facebook would send that video to everybody who likes John Loomer, and John Loomer, by the way, is a big Facebook ads person. So here's a bunch of people who already like Facebook ads, and then you build up and et cetera, okay? Now, something that's really, really interesting here is there's going to be a lot of people who are maybe experts in Facebook advertising. Let me say supposed experts in Facebook advertising, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, Mike, how dare you suggest that people use the boost button? There's a couple things I want to talk about in that regard. One, if you know advanced Facebook advertising, use it. But don't knock everybody else for whom a boost actually is the better 80-20 technique. So, is boosting a post the absolute best, perfect, most wonderful way to get your stuff in front of people? No, not really. What would be better is to create a multi-step Facebook ad campaign with video retargeting and sequential, basically dynamic action-based triggers with multi-step. But that already, like I've been doing this for 10 years and already I'm bored. Already I'm so bored that I won't do it. So the point of this in between the times marketing style, the point that I'm trying to make with taking your phone and making business from your phone is it has to be easy enough that just a couple of clicks, it will work. And let me say something in defense of boosted post. So I've spent personally of my own money in the past 2 years, I've spent just under $1 million on Facebook ads. So it's something like $890 something thousand that we've spent on Facebook ads. Okay. Now, over the past 10 years and working with clients, I can't even begin to imagine. It's got to be getting close to probably $10 million in Facebook ads that I've managed. I can tell you that when people claim that the boost button is ineffective, it's because they have bad content. So let me explain. For $30, okay, Facebook, I've seen it. So I took a look at our Facebook page, the No Pants Project page, on some posts that I've boosted. And I don't even think that my content is super amazing, but we got between, on average, for $30, our video shown to 6.5 thousand all the way up to 17.3 thousand people for $30. Now, if you have a high ticket service that you're selling, in other words, if you have, if you follow what we teach in the No Pants Project, right, and you've got an appetizer and a main course and a dessert, and you have really high lifetime value for your clients, it's almost not worth the drama and complexity to do anything other than boosting good content. Okay? Now, Before everyone in the No Pants Project be like sending me hate mail, but Mike, you said to create a funnel, to create an opt-in, to create automation, to go through the trouble. Remember, what I'm teaching you here is the in-between marketing times. Nothing I'm teaching you right now is an automated client getting system. So for those of you who are in the No Pants Project, please understand what we teach in No Pants Project is an automated client getting system, and it's worth doing the upfront work on the Facebook ads so that you can get people into your business without having to make any content whatsoever. What we're talking about here is maybe you could add this to that automated process, but ultimately what we're talking about is how can I use my cell phone to get clients? Well, one way, Facebook page, Facebook Live, $30 boost on every single Facebook Live that you do. You're gonna, just start to do the math, right? Like, let's say that you do one Facebook Live Monday through Friday every single day, and you boost it $30, and your average reach for the $30 is 10,000 people, okay? Every $30 you put in, okay. So 30 times 20 is you spent $600 in 1 month, right? Is that correct? Maybe, I don't know. Yes, I think it is. Okay. I'm always nervous to do math in public for some reason. I don't know. Can do it in my head totally fine, can do it in my own totally fine, but I always get nervous about that one person being like, it's wrong. Probably something happened when I was a kid or some kid probably made fun of me when I did it wrong in public. I don't know. So 30 times 20, $600 marketing budget per month. Okay. That's not that much if you're selling, for example, blog posts that you charge $400 for, right? Like, how many clients would you need to get off of $600 a month ad budget before you're thinking this is a pretty good ROI? Well, consider this. If every $30 gets us 10,000, it's basically 10,000 person reach on the Facebook Live, what that means is basically every single day, 10,000 people are being exposed to our content, our lives. You're talking about 50,000 people a week, 200,000 people a month for $600. And mercy me, I hope I just did the math right. Let me think that through. 10,000 a day on $30 a day, Monday through Friday. You're only boosting it 5 times a week. 10 times 5 days is 50,000. There's 4 weeks in a month. Okay, that checks out. 200,000 people for $600. Of those 200,000 people who are seeing you authentically helping strangers on the internet through the videos that you're creating, how many of those people do you need to say, let me reach out to that person and see what's up? How many of those people do you need to make this $30 a day spend seem like a pretty good idea? Not very many, right? Like, it seems pretty simple. This is my argument for boosted posts. Like, is it the most pinnacle efficient thing ever? No. But if it takes you 10, 15 minutes to pop out a Facebook Live and then another 2 or 3 minutes to hit boost for $30, you're going to have a hard time convincing me it's worth going more complex than that if I can get 200,000 people to see my stuff in a month for $600. I think anybody who's been in advertising back in the olden times, to get a TV commercial that would be shown in front of 200,000 people, I can tell you it's going to be way more expensive than $600. This is the power of the phone. Everything I just described to you happens entirely on the phone. You could have spent that entire time marketing your business while walking around in the woods, like I have done in the past few lives that you may see. Now, I have clients who are like amazing at this stuff. I'm not even that good at it, and it works really, really well, right? There are some of my clients who are just incredible in front of the camera, and something happens, and I want to talk about this a little bit as well. Sometimes my clients will create a Facebook Live, and they're so good at that piece that what will happen is, they might spend like $400 a day on their boosting it. And some of them even do the more advanced stuff because, they have a whole team. You don't have a team, so don't feel bad that they have one and you don't. Just accept it, use the boost, go simple. But like, let's say I have the big team, or let's say they don't have a big team. Let's just say they say, I'm going to plop down $400 on this boost a post thing. I've had several clients boost a post for a couple $100, and you think, okay, a couple $100, 30 times whatever, let's say 30 times 10. Okay, this is going to be seen in front of 100,000 people if I boost it for whatever. What happens is their content's so good that it catches what's called circular virality, which is to say enough people see it and share it that the exposure compounds and it goes viral. And I have been the person who got to press the boost button to get this circular virality going on posts. There's one post that one of my clients got 15 million views in about 2 months' time. That client got a $5 million deal because that post that went viral was seen by someone with a lot of money who was looking for someone exactly like my client for a thing. I can't really talk too much about it, but the point is they were just doping around on their Facebooks. One of their, probably their granddaughter or something shared it, and they looked at it and they said, you know what, our company's actually looking for exactly that thing. Let's get this person, sign them on as talent, as a representative, as a chief salesperson, and let's give them a big, big, big reward. Not a bad way to go. I wouldn't mind getting one or two of those, right? Super simple. Content plus that boost button. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3. So we've got podcasts, and then we've got biz page, Facebook Live plus $30. You could also do $5 and $10, although I'll tell you, probably less than $30. You're not really going to see too much in terms of results, right? And I think that's just, again, it's part of that circular virality concept, which is you want it to be in front of enough people that it gets some traction, comments start going, people start talking back and forth, sharing it, that kind of thing. And that does need to be, I think people underestimate, like so many people start a blog and they think, man, if I could just get like 500 people a month coming to my blog, I'll be rich. And they completely underestimate like how much people don't take action online. Right? Like conversion rates are brutally low. So instead of 500 people a month on a blog, you need like 500,000 people a month coming to your blog before you make really any money at all. Same kind of concept with really anything online. But if you're going to boost, I would try to commit at least $30 to each boost so that you get enough so that the boost becomes worth the investment. Okay, so that's number 3. And again, or that's number 2. I could probably go on for a couple hours on that method. I just really, really love it. Number 3 is all you do is you get on your regular Facebook page, join a bunch of Facebook groups, and post something in the Facebook groups every single day with no intention of trying to sell anybody anything. Just raise your, remember what we're trying, awareness, or in other words, have people pay attention to you. So quickly become the most popular person in the group. How do you do that? You just post a bunch and you comment a bunch. Then on your personal profile, share some content. That's it. Super simple. This is all from your phone. This is, you're sitting there waiting for your kid to get out of school, and instead of lurking strangers on the interwebs wishing that your life was like theirs, instead of sneak watching some Netflix on your phone, instead of looking for drama on your phone through social media, go into the Facebook group, post something, comment on something, get people's attention in the in-between times. Number 4, go to Twitter on your phone, start searching hashtags for whatever it is that you do. So maybe some of the hashtags could be content writing, or social media marketing, or garden growing vegetables, or whatever it is. Search the hashtags and do 2 things. 1, contribute a piece of content daily to that hashtag. Number 2, interact with, retweet, comment on, send personal messages to people who are interacting with that hashtag also. Let me give you an example so that you don't make a common mistake. If you are a content writer and you want to get, your specialty is tech speak, right? Helping companies who need to produce content for the average person, but they're super tech, they're like super tech companies, and everyone on their team just speaks tech speak. Don't start interacting with hashtag content marketing is awesome, because you're just going to be interacting with a bunch of people who are already content marketers. You certainly can do it, but that's not what's going to get you the client. That will get you strong relationships in the world of content marketing, which may result in a referral. But if you're trying to 80-20 this thing, and I need to go direct for the let's get a client approach, then what you do is you would go find hashtag coding conference 2019. Because who's going to go there? A bunch of coders, a bunch of CTOs, a bunch of people in the world of technology who have companies that, hashtag Tech World Domination Summit 2020. Stuff like that. That's where you want to. You want to go where your customers, where your clients are, and you want to start interacting that way. Number 5, same exact thing I just said, except LinkedIn hashtags. You guys, LinkedIn is so underutilized. We've been using it recently, and LinkedIn is awesome. The hashtags on LinkedIn it's so crazy how awesome the hashtags on LinkedIn are, because you're talking about hashtags where professionals are purposefully, strategically placing them in their content because they want to make connections and interactions with people. Number 7, this one's super, super easy. Go to Instagram, make Instagram content, and direct message people who the content might be helpful for. What I love about Instagram is if you serve local businesses, Instagram allows you to search for posts, also posts by location. So for example, you're in Portland, you could say, and let's say you want to, I know a couple people in the No Pants project work exclusively with breweries. Just search Portland Brewery. There's a list of potential clients right there. DM, send some messages, produce some content that that shows that you're the kind of person who's super interested and willing to help. And there you go. I mean, these methods are not complicated. They're also not easy. They're simple, but let's be honest, sending DMs to breweries saying, I'd like to work with you, that takes a lot of mental work. Overcoming fear, overcoming like the fear of rejection, but also just overcoming the fear of, oh my gosh, am I going to be that person who's DMing someone on Instagram? So you have to then work through like your own strategy. So how are you going to DM? There's lots of ways to DM someone on Instagram. How are you going to do it? How are you going to find the balance between being so soft that they have no idea you have anything for sale and being too hard to where you're not necessarily, you're just turning people off because you're coming across as a sleazy salesperson trying to push your stuff? So all these methods are really simple and really easy. Every single one of them works, but there's the mental aspect and the emotional aspect, which is very difficult. I was working with a client that I have, and he was posting about, he's been doing this for about 3 or 4 days. And by client, I mean, I'm working with him in combination with with someone in you don't need to know all the details of my personal professional relationships here. Basically, somebody I was helping was saying that he had started 3-4 days ago to do one of these methods. The methods that he was doing was just using his Facebook profile, going to Facebook groups, creating content, and he made some very interesting observations. One is that it was working really good. He was getting like posts on his comments or comments on his post in the hundreds, but he was also getting a lot of relationships going. In 3 to 4 days, people were sending him private messages, having conversations. They were seeing him as the authority, as an expert. 3 or 4 days. That's incredible. However, one of the things that he mentioned and that he was struggling with is that it was a lot of work. So, again, for those of you who are in the No Pants Project who might be listening to this, there are reasons why we build the automated system. All of these things work, but they are far from the most efficient. So I just want to keep, it's important. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means know what you're doing. Know what you're getting into when you start this stuff. All right, lastly, and this is my absolute favorite one of all time, use rev.com, and or any other sort of speech to text thing. There's like Dragon Naturally Speaking has a speech to text app. I did not like it. It didn't really work for me. I think I didn't like it because it wouldn't allow you to use, I couldn't get my headphones to work on it or something, so I basically just had to, at least rev.com, I can use my headphones. Now, rev.com also costs $1 a minute for transcription, but the transcription's like 99% accurate. I absolutely love it. So all you do is you just create whatever content you're going to create. If you don't want to be in front of video, then just speak it in rev.com, again, in the in-between times. And then just post it to whatever social channel you want to post. Is video amazing? Yes. Is podcast amazing? Yes. But do you know what? Still to this day, our highest engaged, for at least the No Pants Project, which isn't a great sample size, but for the No Pants Project, the written word is still our highest and most engaged with content. So there's still plenty of room in 2019 for the written word. Rev.com is how you bust out an entire long form post in conversational tone that you could put on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, or you don't have to start your own blog. Go to medium.com, I think it is. I'm not sure if it's a .com actually now that I think about it, but Medium, and blog on their platform. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say, well, I need to create my own platform so that it stays forever and ever, and I need that content. And I understand what you're saying. Like, you want to hold on to that content, and you worry about Medium taking that content, or you worry about putting it up on social, and doesn't it seem like I'm producing a lot of content and it's kind of going away? I think it's really important for you guys to understand how much of the internet just disappears. Like, you can house it somewhere, but to assume that content you create is like this permanent thing on the internet, I think is to misunderstand what is happening on the internet right now. There is so much content being produced that, you know, a big reason why I'm saying you need to have high frequency in order to get attention is because stuff just falls off too fast. Let me give you an example. When I first started writing and publishing fiction on Amazon, you could launch a new book, and that new book would have the same number of sales for like 6 months to a year. Meaning, you know, once it hit sort of like almost like a breaking point of, okay, it's making 15 sales per day. Like for 6 months it would do that. And the reason is because there weren't a lot of new books being produced to kind of take people's attention from that particular book. If it was a good book, it would last a long time. Nowadays, I remember when that dropped to what, and they call it in the writing world, they call it the cliff. So I remember when it dropped to a 90-day cliff. I have friends now who are seeing 20 and 30-day cliffs, which is to say they launch a book, it sells for about 20 or 30 days, and then it's time for them to launch another book because just there's so many books being produced now. That is on Kindle with fiction. The real internet is like a 2-day cliff. The real internet is if you aren't consistently and frequently creating content, then you can forget about being remembered. So this idea of being concerned about what about the longevity of my piece of content is, from an 80-20 rule standpoint, nearly a useless, not useless, maybe that's not the right word. It's not an efficient use of energy. That energy would be much better placed in just go ahead and create something new. Now, what will very likely happen is you create something every day, you try your best every day, you're going to get much better at it every day. You're going to get more comfortable at it. I mean, gosh, it's been about a year since since I last did Facebook Lives on the No Pants Project page. I just started again maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's already gotten easier. This podcast, we're now to episode 36, so much easier now than it was the first episode. Everything gets easier, and what you allow in the ease of creation is eventually something's going to pop off, and you just can't predict what it is. Look, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've worked with some of the best content creators in the industry. People who get paid $50,000 to give a speech. That's how good they are at producing content. We could never predict what of their content was going to pop off and go viral. People who make that claim are either using artificial manipulation, which that's a whole gray area, or they're just straight lying. So it's not worth worrying about when you're a one-man team or when you're a 10-man team, or if you don't have a big budget, it's not even worth worrying about. So the point of me to saying all of this is, it's not about, it's nothing worth worrying about. Oh gosh, should I put it on a blog? Is it going to stick around forever and ever? Well, the answer is no. It's the internet. It's all fleeting, and it's all attention grabbing. So this is why waiting until something is perfectly polished and spending too much time to grow your business, to market your business, over leveraging that time is not a smart idea in 2019. Go unpolished, go simple, and go high frequency consistent. There's a reason all of the people you've heard about in marketing are super prolific. It's because that's how you maintain attention in today's world on the internet. Now, I want to make one last note that You can replace everything that I've just told you with paid traffic. Now, why is that? Because what paid traffic does is it allows for a different kind of frequency. So what paid traffic does is a really good ad and giving something away for free. That is scaled, repetitive attention. High frequency attention. In other words, it is getting that piece of content in front of tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people every single day. But everybody who's in my No Pants Project program knows that that's the automated step one, but I still recommend producing daily content to those people who have signed up to your email list or opted in or joined your Facebook group or whatever it is you're using to collect people's attention. So, quick recap, 7 different ways. 1 is a podcast. You can use your phone to get clients and grow your business. Podcast, anchor.fm. Number 2, business page plus Facebook Live plus $30 boost for every single Facebook Live that you do. Number 3, personal page plus Facebook groups, plus just getting people to be your friends, posting in there, getting a lot of attention. Number 4, Twitter hashtags, interacting, producing content for. Number 5, same thing, LinkedIn. All of this content you can produce on your phone. Number 6, sliding into people's DMs on Instagram and producing daily content on Instagram as well. Number 7, rev.com, just to produce a high volume of written content because the written word still works very, very well. Rev.com, you talk into it, pumps out the content, you post it up to your different social media profiles. Or if you have an email list, guess how I write my emails? Rev.com. So it's all the same thing. Written word, how you distribute it is just a matter of medium. Okay, my friends, that is it. Hopefully something in here was helpful. It's been a while since I did an hour-long podcast. Hopefully this wasn't too rambly and you got some tactics and tricks and things that you can use to start growing your business. Every single one of these works. Every single one of these is meant to be done in the in-between times. If you look at when I do my Facebook Lives, you'll notice they're never at the same time. It's because I'm doing my Facebook Lives in between other things. It's not the main goal of my day. It's just something to tick off, make sure I'm getting myself out there, make sure I'm getting attention, and then on with the rest of my day to be productive and actually do the things that earn the money. Remember, marketing is the part of your business you do for free so that you can get paid. So don't make marketing everything you do all day long. It's a lot of work to do for free. In between times, marketing is the best. All right. That is it, my dear friends. This has been episode 36 of the No Pants Show. 7 ways you can use your phone to market and grow your business. I hope that this has been helpful, and I will see you tomorrow.